Hey, welcome to Alternative Programming, where progress begins with action. I'm your host, John. Everybody calls me JT. We believe progress doesn't wait for permission, and I'm going to start that action today, which means putting AI and automation to work. In this very first episode, what you're going to see coding series, I'm going to show you how we built an internal tool to pull in a spreadsheet and analyze the data. You can build your own personalized tool. You don't have to pay anybody any money. You don't have to shell out 100, or you don't have to have hire experts. You can do this yourself with no experience. Let's jump into it. So here to Lovable. I absolutely love Lovable. This is one of my workspaces, but if you look, I have a ton of them. And Lovable is a coding tool that allows you to quickly build apps and websites. I use this probably 4 to 5 times a week. I feel like it's easier just to build something as opposed to buying it and paying for a big, long, lengthy subscription. You don't have to have a degree. You don't have to be very experienced. You can just get on and start going. The biggest thing you have to do is to commit to being curious and to commit to actually getting started. Today, I figured I'd start with something completely off the cuff. I was up last night working on some stuff for the business, and I came across someone on Facebook, Excel wizard. I need an Excel wizard, somebody that can help me go through and understand it. And people were giving different advice, making recommendations, and she tried ChatGPT, but her spreadsheet was too large. My background in data engineering started as a data analyst, and one of the first tools I used was Tableau. And Tableau is completely awesome. It allows you to pull in spreadsheets, data sources, databases, and make sense of data. But again, we are looking at how do we help her? How do we build something quick that somebody can use to upload their spreadsheet and understand it? What we're going to do today is build that, and I'll tell you my list of favorite tools, Lovable. I also use Claude just came out with Claude Sonnet, the 4.5. Lovable done some really, they started Lovable Cloud, where it brings in everything, database, API, security, all in one. Other tools started doing this. Glad Lovable created an all-in-one tool to quickly build, eager to see how good it is. They have a voice option. You can still connect to your Superbase. We're going to go ahead and play new Lovable. So let's get started. My thought process when building something is, I think, PRD, right? Project requirements documents. And that's a tool we use in development to make sure we fully understand, and anybody coming onto that project can understand what we want in clear terms, how we want it done. It will avoid you being confused. People are on different pages, something we call scope creep, where you start with one thing and end with another. AI tends to do that. It's easy to go down rabbit holes. AI will continue to ask you, do you want more? Do you want to do more? A lot of times, more information is not necessarily a good thing. Sometimes you need to build and go. We create a project requirements document. I usually build that in Claude. I'm familiar with it. It's good with reasoning and coding. My process is I go to Claude and ask for a project requirements document before I do anything. I don't just start building. I like to have a plan. I'm going to go my thought process when I'm building. I always look at what my end goal is. All right. At the end of the day for this project, we want my friend to upload a massive spreadsheet, make sense of it. We want her to be able to maybe ask questions, see charts and graphs. So you go into Claude, say, this is what I want. Can you create a PRD? It'll do it. Another thing I like to do with that project requirements document, make sure the AI is super, super smart. So it'll continue to give you things and ask if you want more. Building that project requirements document into your design up front is key to finish quickly. I pasted my project requirements document, and I'm telling it before we build anything, create a project knowledge file. We're going to call it Data Wizard because she needed an Excel wizard. So the Data Wizard, we want to build a fast, functional data analysis tool, prioritize done over perfect. Users have Excel, CSV files too large for GPT, need quick insight without complex BI tools like Power BI or Tableau. Amazing tools, by the way. Here, I'll put my scope in must have and nice to have. If you want to go off the plantation, do it after must haves. And then things that are out of scope, things we're not going to worry about now. I'll add my tech stack, what we talked about before. I said Lovable. We're going to use some back-end Excel parsing files, some things that are really good at making sense of the data, some charts, things that are really good at making charts. Recharts is native to Lovable, good charts. And then, of course, our backend, we're going to use N8N. I love N8N. It gives you really good customization. It's like a Zapier or another automation tool that allows you to quickly just build things. I'm literally building stuff every day. And then storage, we're going to use local storage. We're going to move to Supabase or something heavier, but for now, I want to show you how we get started and build quickly. User flow, upload file, see data, AI insights, ask questions in the chat, get answers, get some charts. I added a design and some information about my webhook. Told it to save this file and reference it for every feature. If I ask for something not in the must-have, remind me, we'll build an MVP. This keeps you on track. And I've done this a million times. If you go to my newsletter, alternative programming newsletter, I have a story in there when we started getting into vibe coding. When Lovable came out, I was vibe coding crazy, but my projects would always crash because I would just do too much. So we don't want you to do that here. We're going to let that run. Once that ran, you'll see, boom, blank. It says, welcome to your blank app. And all it did here first is what I asked it to create the PRD file. So that's a good thing. So now I'm going to put in my prompt. Let's move this over here. Here's my prompt. We're going to paste this in. With Lovable, it'll start referencing that file and putting things together. As you do this more, it'll get easier. I remember my first applications would take me 4, 5, 6 hours. Now I can build things in 20, 30 minutes. Already, you got something just what I asked for, something simple. Data Wizard, just a simple box where you can browse and upload files and go from there. So it gave me exactly what I want. If you want to make this pretty and add call to actions, make it look like a landing page, you can. I'm about utility. I could see myself using this to quickly get information. Every time it builds something, for me, I like to ask it, is it on track? Because I don't want it to get off track. So I'm going to say, check the data wizard. Are we building everything in the must-have list? Are we adding anything that should be deferred? Right? This chat area allows you to talk back and forth with the application and understand your project. So here's an edit button. You can edit like in Microsoft Word. And then we have this where you can connect to GitHub. It's where you can store your code, look at your history. You can add project knowledge, different settings. And then of course, Supabase, which is type of database that's automatically integrated. And here you can attach pictures or files. If there's a certain error, take a screenshot and attach it. Now I'm going to go to my chat and tell it I'm ready to move to phase 2. At each point, it's going to examine the state of the application and project requirement files. So what it's going to do each time is it's just going to give you just a plan. I like to read through it and ask questions. Sometimes you'll just say implement. A lot of times I like to slow it down and do one function at a time. For this video, we're going to unclick the chat area, implement the plan, and let it work. And once it starts, it's going to ask you with the enable the cloud, the built-in backend, the LLM, and you pay as you go. I've never used this before. They allow for options, pay as you go, ask each time, never allow, and you can change that. I think that is pretty awesome. I'm curious to see how this works. I'm going to just go and allow and let that get cooking. It looks like it added the insight, auto-generated charts. I don't see any changes, but I'm pretty sure it did. It's finished cooking. It says phase 2 is complete. I'm going to verify it did what it said it did. I'm going to take a screenshot, attach it to my screenshots, and show it. This is what I see. Does this look right to you? I talk to my AI like it's a real person. It's going to think about it. Everything looks good. What's next? Should we test or keep building? It's checking against the PRD every time. It says test first. I'm going to download work in Excel, then in CSV. I want to test it with both file types. Architecturally complete. All components, please read. Don't just gloss through it with AI and the fast information. We're used to video or scanning. If you want to build things fast, take the time, actually read every line. Make myself go through and read every line so I don't mentally just skip. So here, I'm going to need my webhook. We're going to add that later. Next step, upload a test file. Check if AI insights load using mock responses. Then test the chat interface, verify the charts, configure the in webhook. Let's go ahead and do that. My files, downloads, try it in Excel first. Looks like it's giving me information, right? 2025, completeness, unique columns, trend analysis, paid versus unpaid, first 50 rows. It's not giving me data, but I can ask questions. Let's just say, how many accounts do I like to guide it, help it. That's going to be in property name. And let's see how far it's gotten. It looks a little rough. So now it's saying configure the webhook to get AI powered answers. I'm going to ask the AI, does this look correct? I'm going to add individual screenshots. Attach more screenshots and add them. This is what I see once I upload my Excel file. How does this look to you? Does this look like it's working properly? All right. Now I'm going to give it a screenshot of I'm trying to understand if it's pulling in all of the data in the rows correctly. Can you look at my spreadsheet and see if it's showing the correct data in Data Wizard? The simpler you tell it, the better. It's thinking now. It's telling me there's a few things to work on. We're going to uncheck chat and implement the plan to get a better view of the data. It's trial and error. Don't get frustrated. A tool like this, not even 4 years ago, would take months to build, or fancy tools like Power BI, which requires an enterprise license, or Tableau to pull this together. But now we're able to do this ourselves. Okay, so we're making a little progress. So it looks like it fixed some errors. Let's go to our screenshot and see. what we're getting. This process for me is steady refining and getting the basics done. I try to spend about an hour. I set my timer because it's easy to get sucked into it. Set it in increments of 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or an hour. It's addictive. I introduced one of my coworkers to it, and she's been on binge for about a week now. So just be careful. It does get addictive. Looks like we got our base data. It's showing double. We can fix that later. Let's move on to our integrations and the next phase. We made our updates. Let's go. I like this. We're going to choose that. Let's see the finished product. One thing I really like about the new Lovable is this enabled AI where the data, the LLMs, all the logic, you can build that directly in. I'm super excited. We're going to test it and put a little prompts in here. How many payments are missing? It tells you in plain language it's missing 3. Then I asked, when did Paloma West terminate services? I didn't think it would pick it up, but it picked it up. So our data wizard MVP is done, and it only took 28 minutes, probably a little less because I was talking. This is how you build things. Now I can put any spreadsheet here, ask questions, and understand my data. You can expand on this as your use case permits. It's 100 megabytes. If you need 200, you'd have to implement some things. I'm thinking, how do we pull in different data sources, merge them and look at correlations, do things you could do in spreadsheets like VLOOKUPs, looking for patterns. This is the end of our session. I hope you got some ideas. Progress over perfection. Keep moving. You'll never be behind. Thanks.